Hi, everyone. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jim, and this is the Dapper Meeple.
This show is about our love of gaming, the games we play, and the gaming community around this passion.
My fellow geeks, nerds, and meeples, we bring you this important announcement from the desk of the Dapper Meeple.
Due to recent important work schedules, including excessive travel, you may have noticed a distinct lack of consistent episodes.
But never fear, the Dapper Meeple is back with new episodes and a few changes.
First, you could expect content on crowdfunding to be coming to you in the off weeks instead of at the very end of each episode.
Also, be on the lookout for future video content and collaborations to fill all of your Dapper needs.
And now we return you to our not so regularly scheduled programming.
So grab some snacks, pull up a chair, and join us at the table with your monocle and bowler hat. Hey kids, remember, this is an adult podcast and may contain adult language.
Also, the Dapper Meeple outfit, not required.
Hello, my name is Anna Pratt, and I am Jim's future daughter-in-law. One of the things that I geek out about is Targaryens from Game of Thrones, especially my Targaryen queens.
Hello, my name is Lucia. I'm from Spain, and I really enjoy D&D. I just joined for the first time, and I'm having a really good time.
Hi, this is the Real Mando Mom. I am a huge Star Wars nerd. I do everything from cosplaying to reanalyzing everything from the shows, the movies, the books, and I am here locally in Virginia Beach at Tidewater Comicon.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I am from Virginia, and I geek out over Resident Evil and Resident Alien. There's a theme there.
I love with our inconsistency that we get to practice restarting the program like twice a year.
It really keeps things fresh.
I think.
Like, that way we can try out new things and not have to worry about that silly consistency thing. And
who really wants a show that's going to come to you every week? Like, you need some chaos in your life, and we're here to provide.
We're here to leave you on the edge of your seat for a long time.
So, as always, things have been busy, but we're always reaching out for sponsors. If we could make $250,000 a year doing this, we wouldn't have to work anymore.
Yeah, easy. No problems.
So there's our goals, people. Reach out to friends and family. I don't know if a Patreon's going to get us there.
You got a great idea from the Board Game Rundown guys when we were with them at Gen Con. Their tagline is, not a sponsor, but could be.
Like this delicious Coke Zero.
We're getting into ASMR videos in case anybody was curious.
But that's going to be on our Patreon at the Meeple After Dark level. The best $20 you'll spend all month, I promise. So yeah, it's been busy. It's been work busy, but it's also been like nerd busy.
Yeah, we have gone to more conventions so far this year than we ever have.
Yeah. Most of the time we're going with the BA Games guys. We've almost officially established BA Games East. I don't know. We made our own t-shirts and they let us get away with it at Gen Con. So
there will be or is a YouTube video floating around. I'm pitching Forges of Ravenshire in a BAE shirt. So as far as I'm concerned, that's about as official as you get.
Sam's going to have to answer a lot of questions to the IRS this year. It's going to be the Virginia Department of Revenue is like, hey, are you guys making money in Lincoln, Nebraska? We're like, what?
That's the trick. We're not making money anywhere.
I'm pretty sure you guys owe us now. So yeah, I got the opportunity to go to Origins, which is the first time we've been there. And that is the convention put on by the GAMA, which is the Game Manufacturers Association. It was, I don't know, every con I'm learning has this different feel to it.
Yeah.
And this one is more of a trade show is what it felt like, even more so than Gen Con. Gen Con always feels like the new hotness is coming out of Gen Con.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. We've talked about it before, how PAX a lot of times has that different feel, especially for us. It's very homey, that sort of coming back to our roots, that kind of first big convention we ever went to, and then compared to Gen Con, which is absolutely madhouse. I can only imagine Origin has a definite different feel.
And I think the attendance on it was somewhere around closer to what PAX is.
Yeah.
But again, the feel is different. One of the big things that we did different this year, and apparently for BA Games, it was new. Normally, like we have at Gen Con or at PAX, we'll have our booth, right, in the exhibitors hall. But then there'll be somewhere where we're doing our game demos and our learn to play type stuff, where you sign up and you sit down and play for 2 hours. At Origins, we actually had that all in one section. Like we had the booth, and then we had 8 tables set up running Forges and Cult and Goblins and Petals and Scales.
Garden Dragons.
Garden Dragons.
I know it slips sometimes.
For those of you listening, it'll be funny when it comes out. Just wait. And the Dungeon Diners game. Garden Dragons and Dungeon Diners are still in prototype, which was cool to be able to learn those and demo them. But again, it was really good. The hours felt like they were longer, and they were. Like, we were working in the booth like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's just because of the way that Origins sets up their times. So for those of you that haven't worked the other side of cons and stuff, the people that run the con tell you when your booth has to be open.
Yeah.
And at first, Origins was like, yeah, you got to be open from like 6 to 8 or some craziness. And we were like, nah, that's not what we signed up for. You get 8 to 8 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and you guys were in not like the area with exhibitors mostly. You were in more of a free play area, correct?
Yeah, which it was a discussion that was had about how good that was, because people were coming and signing up and playing the games and watching the demos and stuff like that. But I don't think they realized that we're right here. You could buy it from us, from that stack we have right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I could see that being, especially when you're used to, like, this is the area you buy in and this is the area you play games, being completely separate. I could see that being a little bit of a troubleshooting. You got to teach the people that.
The good news is that Wild Bill's was literally 4 booths down. So I was on a constant sugar rush. Yo, go me.
Hey, but it's real cane sugar.
Yeah, because
Shout
that
out to
makes a
Wild
difference.
Bill's.
Yeah.
It's not quite a sponsor, but
yeah, it was really good. Right next to the Wild Bill's booth, or a couple of booths down as I'm walking, they also had a tattoo shop.
Okay.
That was showing up doing geek tattoos. And they had one day that was just all walk-ups, and it was flash tattoos. It was a fundraiser, which was really cool. I didn't realize it, and I was working the booth kind of full-time while I was there. So I got my name in on the wait list, but I didn't make it. But it was like good on you coming up. And I believe the fundraiser was for like LGBT youths in the Columbus area, because this takes place in Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
Because I'm certain that when we schedule gaming conventions, we like to do it in places that are in driving distance of corn. That's what I think.
That's where the bigger ones are. I bet, though, if you were a good tattoo artist, especially doing Pokemon tattoos or anime or something like that, I bet you could make an absolute killing.
Yes.
At one of these conventions.
Oh, first of all, again, we've had this discussion about a lot of what this is a luxury hobby.
Sure.
Which I get reminded of every time that GameFound is like, hey, you owe us for this month.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, so something like that. I have watched people in Gen Con show up and drop a couple grand.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not talking like manufacturers or stores or anybody I'm talking about normal people that show up, like the fans.
Yeah.
So there's money to be made. I think the hardest thing for a tattoo artist at one of these for doing something complicated like that is that's time in the chair.
But I would think it'd probably be something like a little flash thing, like what they were doing there. I mean, get you a book of just some quick, even like minimalistic designs, because that seems to be hot right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just throw you a little like portfolio together of that shit, and just, yes, I'll take your money and your money. And
overall, for a first experience, it was really good. The Weathered Dragon was there showing off the table. I mean, he brought help. Chris, the Rome Game Masters were there. Definitely, I'm sure it helps out. I know how our booth is, and we don't have to put together a $10,000 gaming table.
Yeah. His whole shtick of just setting the table there, and then the amount of people who come by and I'm sure are drawn to it. It's like having a table presence on a game is one thing, but having the whole table.
So having the table being the presence?
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot of time to look around, but what was really cool for me was as I'm taking my hour or two during the day to get to wander through the expo hall and grab some lunch and things like that, people that recognized either the meeple or recognized me, just because as we've been doing this, you just meet people unless you're like one of these antisocial, I'm going to go hide and not meet people, which I don't get. I think it comes more from the TCG board game side than it does the RPG side.
Sure.
Yeah. And we're not that.
Yeah.
One of us is an extrovert, And
It's
so, yeah.
definitely me.
But there were people that recognized me, the guys from the Board Game Rundown podcast, Level Up podcast, got to talk to them. I don't remember if you remember Bunny from PAX. She had a
do.
booth, and I was walking, and I was looking at her stuff, and I was like, oh, man, this stuff looks really good. This looks familiar. And I looked up, and she's looking at me like waving, and I was like, oh, holy shit. Probably the coolest thing that happened is, one, I got to talk to Tom Vassell, and I didn't catch a charge.
Baby steps.
Baby step. I was wearing my BA shirt. We made a promise. But we were sitting there, and I was doing... First, I ran a Cult of the Deep game, which went really well. Cult's my jam. Like, I just... Yeah. And there was a couple that was playing, a younger couple, and she ended up pulling the High Priest cards. Everybody knew who she was. And then there was her boyfriend sitting beside her. And then round one, she was like, all right, I'm going to stab you. With couples in the demos, it never fails that they stab each other at the beginning. Just, I don't know
You
who...
got to test the water and the relationship.
Yeah. Some of them got a little strained, I'm not going to lie. We finished up the game and stuff, and everybody had a good time. I was like, all right. And they came back to see Goats and Goblins, which is BA Games' latest creation. The Kickstarter just finished up. Over 2,500 backers, over 90 grand.
Yep.
Like, just, it's a stellar win across the board for them, which, hell yeah, guys. So we're sitting there, and we are playing Goats and Goblins. It was just the three of us, which makes it a simpler game, but they were still having fun with it. And the guy looks across the table as I'm like shuffling the deck, and he goes, holy crap, I know you. And I was like, oh, that's always concerning. But he was like, no, I've listened to your podcast because I have my Dapper Meeple. I had our new pin on, and I had our my lanyard and stuff. So getting recognized in the wild was for a first time thing. That was really cool for me.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Abel, and one of my favorite things to geek out about is time shenanigans, whether it's time loops, time travel, anything time related, whether it's game or realistic, Doctor Who, hypotheticals of how time would work and how you could manipulate it. I could go on for years.
Howdy, I'm Pope. I do a lot of book reading, a lot of classics ranging from older stuff to newer stuff, like Aragon and all that good stuff. I do a lot of tabletop, card games. I try to get into more of them, but it's hard getting everybody away from 5e. So far, the closest I've gotten is 3.5.
Okay, hello, my name is Casey. My Instagram is Casey Shea, CASEYSHAE. I am from Virginia, but I've lived in London, just moved back from living in Orlando. I nerd out heavily. Game of Thrones, obviously, wearing Jon Snow cosplay. Not that any of you can see this, but World of Warcraft, been playing that for about 20 years. Big into Star Wars, do Star Wars cosplay as well, Disney cosplays. Not so much into books as I should be. I think the last book I read was like Harry Potter when I was like 20. But yeah, that's me. That's what I do. There it is.
My name is Ella, and I love to read Toxic Yaoi, and I think everyone should read Toxic Yaoi.
No, I had a really great time. It took me a while to recover from Origins, mostly because the Airbnb we were in had these really huge, like, wooden staircase.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going. It's like really huge rats. No? Okay, my bad.
The bathtub was massive. Loved the shower. And I'm walking down the stairs to have our evening sync meeting thing. Tired, not paying attention, texting. And the bottom 10 stairs were polished to a mirror sheen. And, like, I caught it. I didn't go down. I've fallen and I can't get up, go down. But I definitely ate shit going down the stairs.
Yeah.
So my shit is just now healed.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll take a bullet for BA Games. Let's go.
That's good. Yeah. I hate that I wasn't able to go to Origins. Potentially next year. We'll see how it goes.
Come on, sponsors.
Yeah. Just starting a new job. It was tough for vacation time and stuff. But no, that's definitely one on my list that outside of course, PAX and Gen Con that I'd like to get to. But we were able to do something together with our local con. So we've been begging for, I don't know, 4 years at this point, 5 years.
Yeah, this is our 4th year putting in for it.
Yeah. So for them to give us a table, they never told us why they didn't. We have some ideas, but they gave us one this year. We might not get one next year, but we got the one this year. No, but seriously, it was a really cool time. We got to set up an artist alley next to a couple of cool people. It was fun to meet them. I think we were probably the only podcast that I saw.
Yeah, the only one that I saw there, definitely. I don't know we are what we are. Yeah, I didn't see any other podcast set up. Tidewater this year felt small to me. And I think that it was because there is a new organization that was running it. Kind of like how GalaxyCon runs multiple cons.
Isn't it the same organization?
No, I think it's I think it is. Yeah. GalaxyCon's got some issues right now. Anyway, it was fine. It was a good time, but it didn't have the feel that Tidewater did for me before, if that makes sense.
Sure. I know there was a distinct lack of stormtroopers and Mandalorians.
Oh yeah, let's get into that shit.
We'll come back to that.
Okay, real quick, the people that we were beside, because Artist Alley is like table to table. There's no room between your tables. You are bumped together, and you are setting up right there, and it's close proximity. So on one side of us, we had Ricky Chenoweth, who is a fantastic artist. He does a lot of like pop culture type stuff. Yep. It was really cool. We actually bought some pieces from him for the game room. And on the other side of us, her site is Fangirling Over Jesus, but she did like a lot of artwork, jackets, backpacks, and stuff. Again, pop culture, Marvel, comic book, nerd, a lot of Firefly stuff, which 100% Brown Coats Unite. And they were both really cool. I was concerned as we were setting up. I looked and I saw next to us was Fangirling for Jesus on the map. And I was like, I'm going to have to be careful.
We're going to get in trouble. This is going to be great. I think there were a little hiccups setting up because, to be fair, our experience with cons, we're not usually there when setup happens.
Sure.
Because every time we've gone with the BA Games guys, they've set up before we even get there because we're usually driving in on the day they're setting up.
Yeah.
So that being said, this was the first time where we actually had a booth where we had to set it up. And I think there was a little bit of concern about being able to be seen and whatnot. But yeah, like you're always hesitant too because you maybe probably have not met the people next to you. And when you're in that tight of a space, like you either make friends or it's going to be super awkward all weekend.
Luckily, they both sides seem to get along real well with us. We spent a lot of time like talking to people passing by. Yeah. And it's one of the things too where they were there to make money and to sell things. Yeah. We were not.
No.
We're just there to be like, hey, here's a fun podcast. We handed out our business cards, which are the wooden cut meeples from Fire and Ash.
Yeah.
And everybody loved those. They were fangirling over meeples. It was great. Even the guys were fangirling over it. They were really great meeples.
Yeah, they're very nice meeples. Nobody got a tattoo of one yet that we know of, but we'll see. No, it was an interesting dynamic because I think we weren't threatening anybody as far as trying to sell or anything like that. We were heckling a few people, though, because that was hilarious. But the cool thing we did, and hopefully if you're listening to this, you were one of the ones that got to come and record with us, is we brought a full setup with us.
Yeah.
And got different people from the crowd to record the things that they geek out about.
Yeah, I have about 38 recordings, and you've probably already heard some. And through this episode, you'll hear them break in every now and then. And it got mixed reactions, right? Because some people are like, oh, man, my voice sounds horrible. And I was like, yeah, have you heard me? Go listen to the podcast. I make this sound good. Like, this isn't natural. And some of them jumped right at it. And the ones that did were super excited. So, sorry, it's taken a while, guys. Yeah, welcome to the Dapper Meeple. I don't know what to tell you.
Hi, I'm Bridget. On my spare time, I stream. I'm actually a writer and voice actor on a Curse of Strahd Baldur's Gate mod. So if you are looking for a new mod coming for Curse of Strahd, I am your gal. I am on the writing team there and working on production. And I love anything that is tabletop and board games. You can actually look us up, just Curse of Strahd mod, if you just look it up on anywhere on Google. We are the first ones that come up for Baldur's Gate. I have a pen name, so it's going to be Bridget. Don't know what the rest of it is, but you'll find me on there, and you can probably find my voice on there, too.
All right, hi, my name is Raina, and I'm actually from right here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, at my very first ever Tidewater Comicon, and I'm here to nerd out about all things horror. I love the iconic slashers like Jason and Michael, so I'm here to get lots of horror stuff.
My name's Josh. I am from the Hampton Roads area, and I nerd out to Warhammer 40K and the entire Lord of the Rings. I know the Silmarillion, the whole plot. You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Sage, and I am obsessed with Terrifier, specifically the second one.
If you say the third one's your favorite, you're lying.
We made no promises of date.
Nope, I just said on the next episode.
But no, it was really fun. It was cool to meet people. It was really cool to just interact with the community. We got to meet some other content creators who were just walking around, some other cosplayers and things like that. That was really fun. Just that whole interaction I thought was really cool. It's something that you don't always get at a larger convention, especially since it was very long.
Yeah. And I liked it. I didn't really have any issues with anything. Like the staff was helpful when we needed them. But yeah. So if you are a cosplayer or you exist in this realm, you've probably heard about the 501st or the Rebel Legion, which are basically two sides of the same coin, right? It is a cosplay group. And to be part of this cosplay group, you have to have like movie prop level costumes, cosplay to get into it. Like parts of the 501st have been used in actual Disney Star Wars films and series. So you got to have your stuff together.
Yeah.
They're a big deal. And traditionally, Tidewater Comicon is a huge fundraiser for them, right? Because they do a lot of stuff. There's so many good stories of things that they do out there. If you ever get bored, just Google the pink R2-D2 and look at the story behind that, which you actually see it used in Rogue One. I think when they're scrambling the fighters.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You see it go by in the background. But big deal. Like the 501st is a well-established organization. And for some reason, the information that we got was that they were invited to Tidewater Comicon and then got uninvited.
Yeah.
We kind of been poking around. I haven't really found a why, but that felt personal.
Yeah, especially given the history that they have with the Tidewater Comicon, like that being such an important event on their yearly calendar. That's a tough thing.
So I would really, one of the things that I haven't investigated and I would like to look at is, like you said, the promotion company that is now taken over for Tidewater. It's the same one that's doing GalaxyCon. And was there some beef with GalaxyCon in the 501st? Because I know GalaxyCon has had some controversy here lately.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as if that might have had something to do with it. We don't know. I will be interested to see if anything else comes up. I haven't seen anybody from either side talking about it on social media or anything. So I don't know. There's NDAs in. I want the tea, you little turds. Knock it off. Tell me what's going on.
I am curious as well. But who knows? Maybe we'll find something out, I'm sure. But that was Tidewater. It was fantastic. Fun little time. Enjoyed it. Glad got to meet everyone who may be listening here. And we hope to maybe see you at the next one.
And then Gen Con. We a lot of times we've done the pre-con show, which we kind of skipped on this one.
Yeah.
Which is fine. If you were interested, go back to last year. I think a lot of content creators, especially with Gen Con, do a whole lot of what they're excited to see, like the games that they want to pick up. So I don't feel like the community was missing anything by us not doing it. And again, we were traveling. I don't even remember what my home looked like for a month or two there. So we really just were mentally preparing for Gen Con. This was the biggest showing that BA Games has had at any convention.
Yes.
We were demoing 5 different games and several runs of the game. There would be 4 games of Forges of Ravenshire going at any one time.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 games of Goats and Goblins and the Garden Dragons. I'm never going to get that. And then Cult of the Deep, there would be a game going of that. You can't run 2 Cult of the Deep at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just not like Forges of Ravenshire. Once you get them going and get them through the first of the 4 seasons, all right, fine. Repeat the mechanic, keep going. Cult of the Deep, you got to babysit that thing all the way through.
Yeah.
Because it is ever-changing, social deduction, things like that. And then, of course, Dungeon Diners, which is still in prototype, but they're looking at maybe end of next year being able to have it on crowdfunding. Really, a really fun game. I didn't realize that I was being Pavloved in Origins to learn that game so I could run it at Gen Con since the actual designer wasn't going to be there till the weekend. So that filled most of my days
Yeah.
It's in prototype, which means that the game, they have a physical copy that they've made, but like it's arts and crafts time. Like it is not. Yeah. The final product will never resemble the pieces and what you've got on there, which means you've pieced things together from all over, which means setup and reset on that game was a nightmare. And the game worked. The mechanics work. It's a lot of fun. The guy who designed it has a spreadsheet that he's been tracking for 2 years over how can you win the game? What's the best way to score points? Like making sure that there's not a meta to the game, right? And making sure that it's even, making sure stuff's balanced in the game. This spreadsheet apparently is like a wet dream for NASA engineers. It's huge, just massive. Yeah. And like, I'm pretty sure there are sheets of it that might actually reside in another dimension. And the game works. The physical pieces.
I remember the one day that you were setting that up. I think I had kicked off 2 games of Forges and was starting like the next group. So it'd been about an hour and you were still setting it up. So yeah, that's rough. But that was where we were. We had a lot of early shifts this time, which normally in the past we had our mornings off, so we would meander around the hall while everything was opening up. And then at 10 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, we hit the booth and then work that. This year, we were mostly events for a lot of it. And at 9 o'clock, we kicked off our first events. And then every hour on the hour, we were kicking off 2 more games of Forges of Ravenshire, 2 games of Ghosts and Goblins, 2 games of Garden Dragons. So there was a lot going on. We had a lot more volunteers running around that a lot of them had not ever done a convention, or some of them had never taught games before.
Yep.
That was interesting, and we had that.
Yeah, we were the veterans. Shout out to Wrigley and Jaden, 2 brand new kids that we brought in, and they both did great. Yeah, jumped right in, picked up games pretty quick, did well teaching and dealing with other humans. So good on you guys.
Yeah. Thursday was a little bit rough, but Thursday, first day of the con, it's always interesting. You never know how things are going to work out. But by the time Friday hit, we had hit our stride. Like we were good to go for the rest of the thing. Yeah. But no, it was always a blast. There were a ton of people there again this year.
Oh my God.
We walked in on Thursday to sold out signs on the doors. So that's how we knew it was going to be. Yeah.
So I pulled the numbers for Gen Con this year, and I'm not sure how. Record crowd. So we're talking about 72,000 attendees, where last year was more around 70. So I don't know where they found the room for 2,000 more people because it was sold out last year.
I think it was still 72,000. I think it was bigger this year in what they call turnstile attendance.
Yep.
Which, if you don't know the difference between that, so they sold 72,000 like individual badges. Turnstile attendance, though, is the actual amount of people who actually were at the con each day. Because not every day did you have 72,000 people there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But when they track turnstile, it's how many people are doing events, how many people are scanning their badges for the various things, like all that sort of stuff goes into that turnstile attendance, which they had more this year. That means per day, there were more people in and interacting with the convention than last year.
That makes sense. Okay. There was also 575 exhibitors, which we got in that number. We had exhibitor badges. Woo!
Yeah.
Which those are nice. Again, I think one of the perks of being an exhibitor or volunteering like that is you do get in. They said an hour early, but there are days we showed up almost 2 hours early, and they were like, whatever.
Yeah. Now, if you're trying to go to a specific place or talk to somebody, they might not be there at that time. But
that was good. And then you get to stay a little later. And then a lot of places do give you a discount for your exhibitor badge.
Yeah. Wild Bill especially. Shout out again. I enjoy that quiet hour before the hall opens, though. I've really come to enjoy that, where you can take your time and move around the hall. Like I almost got through the entirety of the Gen Con hall in about an hour the one morning that I had off. I almost made it up and down every single aisle. Because there's no there.
Yeah.
You got to dodge the pallets of stuff where people are loading and unloading it. But still, I like that time because it allows me to figure out where things are, who's where, if there's something I need to go back and look at. gives you an opportunity to talk to people too without having to try and fight a bunch of crowds and things like that. Just all in all, if you ever get the opportunity to get an exhibitor badge through helping a booth or something like that, I would say I do not, if I can get an exhibitor badge, I want to get one.
Yeah, working the other side of the con or working the con, I think it is just as fulfilling as attending in a lot of places.
Yeah.
You still get, anybody you're working for is going to be smart enough to let you, like, you still get time to go do con stuff and make some appointments or make some reservations on things. But just the interaction with the people is very different. I don't know, you have this sense of purpose. I'm going to teach you this cool ass game. Sit and enjoy.
Yeah.
Especially when you run a good game. One of the best things that happened for me at Gen Con was when I had a group that was probably the best game of Cult I had ever ran. Yeah. It went past time, but it was like the last game of the night. So I was like, I'm going to let them finish. It was a 7-person game. Most people were dead. There was the high priest, there was the heretic, and then there was one of his faithful. We knew who the high priest was, and the 2 girls that were left, one was the heretic, one was the faithful, and they were making arguments about how they were the faithful. It's obviously me. I'm the faithful. Remember when I did this during the game? And I'm not going to lie, I didn't know which one it was. Like, they both had very compelling arguments. Yeah. But in typical culty high priest fashion, he's, you know what? I'm just going to kill both of you. He still wins. He still wins.
Yeah.
And so does the faithful. So she was like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Really good game. So much so that they came back to the actual booth in the exhibitor hall the next morning and bought 6 copies.
Yeah.
So everybody bought one, then somebody bought one for a friend. And as they were leaving, one of the people that was playing, she came up to me and she was like, here you go, and gave me like a little charm bracelet that said Cult of the Deep. I was like, oh, more trinkets. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And it was just when you run a good demo and people are like, I like this game because you showed me how to play it and showed me why it was fun.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed those experiences as well. I think mine came from a Goats and Goblins game. It was one of the first ones that I ran, I think on Thursday. I had a group, it was 6 people, but it was like all dudes who were like in their like late 20s, early 30s. And then one little girl who was like 8 years old. She had a little unicorn headband on and fantastic.
Yeah, perfect.
So,
no notes.
Yeah. Her dad was like sitting next to her, helping her. Do you think he wasn't one of the other players? But they were going through it. Everybody was trying to figure out which Goats and Goblins is really easy to figure out. And in the game, you try to go as deep into the deck as you can to find treasure and loot and things like that without causing cave-in. At that point, I think the record that had been set was like 14 cards in before a cave-in had been caused. And I had let everybody know before we started playing that was the record, just give them a frame of reference. If they wanted to be overachievers. Most people are like, I'll do 5. And as they're going through, this little girl, she's 18. And I'm standing there going, 18, you sure? And she was like, and so there were 2 of the other guys were like, all right, we're in. And everyone else, of course, was out because they're like 14 was the most that's ever happened. Yeah. We started flipping cards, and as we got closer and we reached like 12 and 13, like this table started, like you could just feel the buildup. Because we hit a cave-in card at like card 3. So everyone was, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, we're going to get it. It went through the rest of the cards and all the way to 18 absolutely clean. Yeah, the table erupted. Everybody was like cheering. So in Goats and Goblins, you can play what's called a push card, and you can force the table to draw more, or the cave leader to draw more if they haven't busted yet. Everyone who had a push card was like, nope, I'm not playing it. They got this one. Yeah. All the treasure, of course, went to her as the cave leader, and she was able to divvy it out. But yeah, it was just absolutely one of the best experiences. She was so happy. I don't know if she completely realized what she did or anything, but everyone at the table, like, that's the kind of experience that game can bring.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. I gave her one of our new pins that like has a little spinning meeple on it because I was like, I got to give her something. She just broke the record. Those are the kind of experiences that you get from like the other side, which are always really cool. Just being able to see people either light up with that understanding or enjoyment about this game. And it's probably something that you yourself have even felt learning to play it and learning to teach it and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are definitely some of the best moments that I enjoy from that side.
Hi, my name is Jay Culligine. I'm a comic creator. I met these guys at Tidewater Comicon. So I do a book called Mest. It's the nickname for the Metropolitan Sewer District. It has Lilliput. Lilliput is a Filipina Asian female sewer worker who's our tour guide to the weird, wild, wet world beneath our feet. The other book we do is a little bit more of a hidden history, is a Filipino assassin about a real boxer from the 1920s named Vincent Minago Handbright. He had an unbelievable right hand, so the newspapers called him the Filipino assassin. And 1920s, went all the way to Madison Square Gardens in New York, won a bunch of different belts. Honestly, never heard about him until a year ago. So we're trying to just put a little bit of a spotlight on these hidden figures. So yeah, if you want to check us out, go to Messed Comics, MESSED comics.com. And thank you. It's nice meeting y'all.
What's up, guys? My name is Manuel Resurrection. If you guys don't know me, I'm probably a regional known folk here. Known in the Comic-Con scene, doing this for 3 years. Tidewater, Galaxy, Raleigh, NecoCon, you name it, the sorts. I've been there, I've done that. In the racing scene, I am a race car driver here at Tidewater Sports Car Club. Shout out to them. Been there for 3 years as well. Top 3 position all the time. All right, and if you guys don't know me, though, in dancing, though, I am regional champion in bachata, Latin dancing. Shout out to Bachata Vida and my dance teacher, Kiana. So I am actually traveling to every state in the country to go dancing and see where I'm going to go. Check out the different scenes and see what they're into. We're going through all the process, though. I just want to make sure you guys know that wherever you go, no matter how you try your hobbies, always come back to your local region. That's where your family and folks are at. All right, see you guys later.
Goats and Goblins has consistently, over both of the conventions that I did with them, Origins and Gen Con, been like very well received. It is a very different from the other games that they've put out, but BA Games is doing that. Each game that they're putting out, like, they're not pigeonholing themselves. Kind of like Smirk and Dagger, I think they did that to themselves, where everybody was expecting a type of game from Smirk and Dagger, and I think that hurt them more in the long run, where BA is starting to reach out. Even the 2 games that are in prototype still, very different type of games. But Goats and Goblins is very easy to learn, very fun. It's got that push your luck mechanic. It's got that kind of take that mechanic that you can work in there, semi-cooperative. And I think that's kind of what brings it together. The only game that I saw that was, there was like some hardcore board gamers that sat down to play. And they sat down, it felt like, with this attitude of, yeah, I'm going to figure out why this game sucks. So a round of Goats and Goblins should take you all of 5 minutes. You get to the cave leader, says, hey, I'm going to draw this many cards. And then everybody goes, I'm in or I'm out. And you start drawing cards. Yeah. Nah, bro. Like, I watched them take almost 15 minutes for one round. And there was only like 5 of them. What if he draws this and I play this card and some angel reaches down and touches the deck? I don't know what the hell they were talking about. I was like, dude, flip the cards. Just flip the damn card. It's not... They're goblins. These goblins don't really look like goblins. Hey, who the hell are you? The Goblin Police? Play the game. Jesus.
Goblin Police. Yeah. And that's something you get too as you interact with more people in the convention through like demoing and stuff like that. You do find all types.
That's true.
And you realize that our hobby is attracts a variety of people.
That's true.
For better or for worse. But yeah, I think those kind of moments are still like, I still enjoy those. I still enjoy that teaching. I enjoy that demoing aspect of it. Like, I enjoy that when people finally get it moment.
Yeah. That's
always really fun. I think one of the other really cool things that has become a tradition for us now is we did True Dungeon again this year.
Oh, yes. Yes. Which we actually did it early this year. Last year we started at 10 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough. I definitely like during the day better because I have found that I don't have much left to give when it comes to 10 o'clock at night during cons.
4:30 was already rough. Like we started this year, it was about 4:30, I think, that we kicked off. And yeah, got to approach it very differently. I think we all chose a different class than what we did last year.
I think Marie was a druid.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. If she gets comfortable, she'll stick with something. She was a good druid.
Yeah. But I will say the group we had this time was drastically different from the group we had last time.
Ooh.
Last time, it was very much like a lot of new players, and the ones who weren't new, like, very much kept to themselves, didn't really say much. When I got there, we actually were one of the last people to get into the initial, like, holding room kind of thing where you pick your class. Classes are first come, first serve, so if you don't get there first, you get what's left.
There are still lots of good options, but
if you're looking for something specific, keep that in mind. One of the classes that usually gets picked up early is the rogue. This time it was not. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll take it. The reason is the rogue, in certain rooms, you can do a test where you can get an additional treasure token.
Yes.
So normally in the rooms, though, you can either get a treasure token or you can get a hint for the room because it's always in one of the puzzle rooms. So I sat down. I was like, oh, cool. The rogue's still open. I'll take the rogue. I want to try that out. So I grabbed that, and this dude walks over to me, and he's like, here, these are for you to use because you're the rogue. And I was like, oh, cool. What are these? And I look at them, and they're True Dungeon tokens, but they're in like little plastic cases. As someone who has dealt with trading card games and stuff, I know that when something's in a little plastic case, that means it's expensive.
Right?
Yeah. And so I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh. And I'm starting to figure out what they do. And he's, you got any questions? And I was like, no, I think I'm good. He's like, all right, cool. And he goes and sits back down. And I'm looking at him, and one of them allowed me to, if I passed the test, I could take the treasure token and get the hint for the room, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Everyone who plays a rogue should have that. And then also the other one was like, if you fail the test, you can just sacrifice 10 hit points and pass it. It was a crowbar. So it was really cool. There were a couple people like that who you could tell like True Dungeon was something they enjoyed. Like that guy had been playing for, I think, like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And he had a ton of really expensive tokens that were good for various different classes. He said he usually played a rogue, but he's been trying to play something different the last few times. So like that just generosity was really cool. And then we had just powerhouses on our team.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I know the guy who played cleric, the minimum amount he could heal was like 42 hit points.
Which is crazy because we started out with 22.
Some classes not even that much.
Yeah.
I think I started with 15. Yeah. Just it was another one of those where he had been playing for so long, 10, 15 years. He had a ton of really good tokens that he would use. One guy who played with us had made like a cosplay armor piece.
That leather like armor that he had on that was so good. It had the magnets.
Yeah, it had little magnets and slots in it where he could slot tokens in. So there are some tokens when you're playing, like they have abilities on them and you have to spin them basically to use them. So he would keep them on his arm until he was ready to spin them, and then he would pop them off and he could put them back in his bag. Just stuff like that. And I was like, oh, it really gave us a better look into the ecosystem of True Dungeon because we had heard like the reselling sites and stuff like that. And I'd looked at those before and I was like, I don't know what makes this token like $500, but they exist, right? And there are things out there. They were really cool about telling us just more meta stuff about the games, about the tokens too, like what to be on the lookout for, just all kinds of really cool stuff like that. If there were like ideal situations for us to use our abilities, they were telling us about that. Yep. So it was a much better experience even than last time. And we had a blast last time. We didn't know what we were doing. We had it, but we still had a great time.
And we died, all of us.
Yeah, spectacularly. But this time we definitely won. It was not even a question.
It was like some of those fights were like over. And I was like, we only got 3 rounds in. What happened?
So as the rogue, you could take a round off and like then sneak attack the next round. You get an extra like 15 damage bonus or something like that. So I would start every first round by sneaking, and then I would attack the second round. There were at least 2 or 3 fights that I didn't even get to attack because it was just dead.
The paladin, who was the guy with the leather arm piece, a lot of he would start and he'd be like, I'm protecting the bard, because I decided to take the bard. I'm not a singy bard. I'm a hype man bard. We learned that, which was a good time.
Yeah.
One of the things that the bard could do, and I had the token, I think I just got it from the ones that they gave me, was one of the things the bard can do is a lore check.
Yeah.
When they go in. We have spells, but most of them are pretty like fire and forget, which I didn't use any of mine. I didn't have a chance. Kept killing everything. But the monster lore check, you can do, I had a token that would let you do it for free every time. So I'd walk up and be like, yo, tell me about this monster. And the dude would pull a little card out and be like, what's this? Because just like with the other caster classes, you have to memorize either patterns or some kind of like silhouette. So the druid has to learn different leaves and stuff. And usually they have about 12 or 13 different shapes that they need to memorize. Yeah. So you put your character together in like the briefing room, and then you go into this little training room where you see how combat is done and things like that. And I was like, oh, where's the bard stuff? And the guy points to this board with 24 different shapes on it. And I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, you got to memorize those. I was like, what? Oh yeah, the Bard has more because Bards go to Bard College, so they learn a lot of different things. And I was like, yeah, but my ass never went to Bard College.
Yeah.
I will say, nailed every one of them.
Yeah. You did extremely well for having never gone to Bard College.
Bard College for bitches. I can do this. I don't need your silly books.
Yeah, you obviously
I'm like, I don't think you guys know what Bard College is.
you obviously cheated your way through Bard College.
Hey, as a bard, I feel if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Really should be your motto. But yeah, nailed every one of them. Like, it was fine. And in every fight, I'd walk in and be like, hey, what's up with this dude? And he'd be like, name this picture. And I'd be like, your mama. And he was like, yep, good enough. Here's what you know. And sometimes it was really helpful. Hey, maybe don't use holy damage against this guy.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it wasn't. Like, if he bites you, you'll get poisoned, but you won't die. And I was like, oh, okay. So
Still seems bad. I don't know.
afterwards, I went in and I was like, wait a minute. Every role-playing game I've ever played has a source book. It has your core books that you learn. And so does True Dungeon.
Surprise.
It's going to take me until next Gen Con to get through that damn thing. If it were printed, like, it would look like one of those books in old libraries that are like 2 feet tall. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But it explains everything that we've been asking questions about. So as I dig into it next year, we're going to be ready.
Yeah.
Between that and learning where the black market for tokens is, gold, baby.
So yeah, that was our True Dungeon experience this year. It was fantastic. It is a little pricey. It was like $124 a person. Take that as you will. There is apparently a miniature golf, like, kind of game that's like D&D and miniature golf together that apparently a lot of people enjoy as well. It's a little bit cheaper. I think called Critical Putt. So that's something I would like to maybe look at checking out next year. But Gen Con is just so big, and there are so many like awesome things that happen during the convention. There are so many games to play. There are people playing games at all hours of the night, all hours of the day.
Oh my God. Like, on top of the convention center, the block party, the stadium,
Yep.
and then the hotels surrounding that area all have something like schedules, panels, games.
And
It's
then
a
you
lot.
have all your after parties, which we don't really go to a lot of them because we're usually exhausted. But we do always have one that the BA Games team puts on for all their volunteers where they'll buy dinner, we'll get together, we'll just hang out, recoup for the evening, maybe play a few games, that sort of thing, which this year's was really fun. The board game rundown guys also showed up. So we had a whole room full of people.
I think you find a lot. And in Origins as well, we went to the Secret Cabals, like, get together. And you get to meet a lot of people. And for the most part, most people that I think we've met have been just good people and a lot of fun. The board game rundown guys, we're going to reach out to them. We're going to do something together. They did talk to us and they were like, hey, when are you guys going to do our podcast? And it was like, when are you going to do our podcast?
My name is Aiden Jones. I'm here today with Faith Hurley. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Aiden?
Do you want to go ahead and go first about everything that I guess you nerd out about since we're in the nerdy place?
Technically, we're dressed up as Masato and Kaji
yes.
from Evangelion,
Which is a very
Neon
nerdy
Genesis.
thing.
Very nerdy. I also like Resident Evil. I just met the voice actor for Claire. Coolest thing ever. I also like playing Resident Evil. Anyone would like to ask me about the timeline, I will go on about it for hours.
Walking history book. I could say the same about retro video game consoles and collecting and being able to tell someone, oh, here's the history of how this company tried to hit this market with these design choices, and here's how successful this was.
We are now on the hunt to go find the stuffed animal because I'm very sad without him. Bye.
All right, I'm CBL, and I am from the East Coast, far into Virginia, near the Virginia Beach. I love everything Beetlejuice, anything board games, really in the D&D. Really love Five Nights at Freddy's. Any video game possible, I'll be able to play it.
We played a few games that night that were really cool. They were just more like light party games because you're usually cooked by that time of night, so it's tough to do anything too heavy. But yeah, so it was really fun. Even though this is our third Gen Con?
Third Gen Con, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are still things that I feel like I'm still learning. The first day that you get there, like the layout and stuff, I'm usually like, okay, yeah, I know. I know where things are. Like, I'm good to go. Let me get my bearings. But just things like traversing the hall. This year was the first year I got to see the cosplay parade because I was demoing games where the cosplay parade,
where the parade goes by.
Yeah, that was fun. That thing is just so huge. I would never imagine there were that many people interested in cosplay, but they like do this parade and it lasted, it was a solid like 10-15 minutes of just people walking by in cosplay.
Like I was expecting 5-10 minutes, but I was running a game of Cult. There was that last game that I had ran, and I kept looking up and I'm like, this is still going on?
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was significant.
Yeah. And there are so many good cosplays.
Oh yeah.
And all over the board too, not just your like traditional like Star Wars or like armor character cosplays and stuff, but there was one lady who did a Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She made her own dress, like just absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, I'm sure, for a bunch of the little kids running around, stuff like that. So yeah, just shout out to all of them, because I know, one, it can't be easy to get a costume like that together, but also wearing that thing.
There was a lot of them where I'm like, man, I know it's just foam and not real armor, but that stuff don't breathe.
Yeah.
I'd build fans into mine or something.
Yeah. That was really cool. There's still, Gen Con is just so big that there's so much to do. There's still stuff. We talked even just the other day, we were like, we've never been to the upstairs part of Gen Con. There's a whole area we have never even been to. And it's not like we haven't walked by it, because the stairs are right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we've never been up there. Maybe next year, maybe we will. Maybe we should put that on the list. I don't know. But part of that, we don't have, it's not like we're just able to meander for the 10, 12 hours a day or whatever that we're there. We are actually usually doing stuff for most of that time. But that's when I talk to people about Gen Con, especially people who have never been to a convention like that before, it's hard to describe the scope.
Yeah. I show pictures and talk to people at work and stuff about it, and they can't fathom what that looks like.
Yeah. Because you tell somebody 72,000 people and they go, wow, that's a lot of people. But most people cannot picture in their mind what 72,000 people looks like, or the kind of space you would need
to accommodate
72,000
people.
Okay. One of the best pictures I've seen is the picture inside of Lucas Oil Stadium, where we took from the like food court area down that encompasses the whole field and the giant like Gen Con sign that they put up at the other end. Just because that's kind of the only thing to give like a scope of what this looks like. And that's only a quarter of the space of this convention, if that much.
How's it going? My name's Andrew, and I nerd out about all things anime, Star Wars, and video games.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Champion. I'm from the UK. I like playing Zombicide and all sorts of different tabletops like D&D, 2nd edition. I also like making my own board games with my husband. We've created a small little world and we're slowly building up. We also play Moonrakers and Distillery and a few other cutesy creature games as well.
Lucas Oil Stadium, when it is used for its intended purpose for a Colts game, seats 70,000 people.
I thought you said for an occult game. And I was like, yeah.
Cult of the Deep, take it off, baby. But yeah, their capacity is 70,000 just in that stadium. And like you said, we spread it out all the way over to the convention center, multiple levels, the tunnel that goes between the convention center, the block party outside, which is the above ground between the convention center and the stadium. Yeah.
True Dungeon is entirely underneath the field at the stadium.
And they're running multiple like scenarios down there, which are 7 rooms apiece. And they had, I think, 4 or 5 different scenarios that they were running. And at the same time, like multiple versions of that.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy that kind of like scope that is there. That it's just hard to describe. And I think the other thing too is it's hard for first time people to get their bearings.
Sure.
Because there are so many things that go on. So we did our Gen Con kind of pre-episode last year, but I think if I were to add anything to that episode, I think it would be, if you're planning on going to Gen Con and it's your first time, find somebody who's already been and become their best friend.
Yep.
Because there are so many things that honestly Gen Con doesn't do great at as far as like letting people know where things are and stuff like that. There's some stuff you just got to figure out on your own.
Yeah.
There are resources out there and you probably could find them if you looked hard enough. But I think nothing beats like somebody who's been in there and has walked the halls and has needed a snack at 3:00 in the afternoon and had no idea where the closest place to eat was.
Sure.
Right?
Even if you use the app or even the program that they give you, like looking at those maps, again, if you don't have a concept of just how much space this takes up, like those maps don't really make sense to you the first time through. So yeah, make friends.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
Looking at you, TCG community. Just kidding, guys. We love you.
And that's the other thing. If you happen to find yourself at Gen Con and realize that you have underprepared, don't be afraid to ask someone. Whether it's the person you sat down at an event to play games with, or if you stand there looking lost in a hallway and find somebody, like most people there are friendly.
Yeah.
And most people hopefully have some sort of idea of where things are and how to get to things. Like, don't be afraid. Like, you can talk to people. Like,
Yeah.
They won't bite unless you give consent. But there's that.
We did meet her. TikTok is Diana of the Rose. She does a lot of D&D, RPG type content, and she was wandering around and in passing saw her. Apparently really good with faces. And just like real quick was like, hey, love your content. And she was like, oh my God, here, have a pen. We were running late to True Dungeon, so we didn't get a chance to talk. But I did run into her later on and got pulled off to the side and just talked about content and what she was doing and stuff. We gave her one of our pins. Like, there was a lot of fun. There's the one dude that the first year we were at Gen Con, we played the Warhammer Space Hulk game where you basically, it's just a meat grinder. You just get a character and you just run through, and using the Warhammer rules, you kill different things that show up in the room. We played a couple times. There was one dude we played 2 or 3 times with that first year. Yeah. And we've seen him every year. And every time he walks by, I'm like, dude, Warhammer, what's up, baby? And he always, the first reaction is, I'm going to fight.
Like a deer in headlights every time. Like, oh, hey, yeah.
I don't know if he actually recognizes us at this point. I just want to leave this interaction.
Too afraid to say any different. This guy keeps following me around everywhere talking about Warhammer.
Hi, I'm Blue, or Swervable on most social medias. I'm a really big fan of Transformers. It's like really insane and so bad that I got a tattoo for Transformers. So my favorite Transformers comic is More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. It's such a good series. The whole story of IDW is super, super long. There's 500 issues, but then More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light together is only 55 of those issues. There's so much I could say about Transformers and specifically More Than Meets the Eye, but that's just like my one favorite snippet.
Hello there, my name's Danielle Fillers, and I nerd out hardcore about board games.
My name is Aaron Pratt, and my geek out things are, as a kid, Dragon Ball Z, definitely, and Brandon Sanderson novels, without a doubt, and the third thing would be anything Spider-Man.
Obviously, there are a ton of games that get showed off at Gen Con, both brand new, some have been out a little while. But like you said, Gen Con is the place to go in the States if you're releasing a new game. Like you wanted at Gen Con. If you wanted to come out at Gen Con, that's cool too. But some of the ones that we saw, and we picked up one of them that were really cool that I just wanted to highlight, is the first one, Lightspeed Arena. So I didn't ever see this one in the convention center. I know it was there because people bought it there. But this was one that the Board Game Rundown guys actually brought to the EA Games party. I didn't get a chance to play because I think I was running around doing something. But I think Marie actually got to play it.
She did.
Yeah. So what it is, you have these different tiles that have like lasers and stuff on them, and you're trying to set them up to where they will shoot and destroy like your opponent's like ships and stuff like that. But you only have 10 seconds to place out your tiles. So you got to do it really fast. And then there's an app where you take a picture of where everyone has placed their tiles, and then it like simulates the battle as if they were actually shooting at each other.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a unique concept, and that's Lightspeed Arena. So that one looked really cool. I hate that I didn't get a chance to see it because there are apparently some cool expansions and stuff for it too. So I might be on the lookout for that one when we go to PAX later this year. But the other one that I got, one that we actually picked up, is called Vanity Plates.
That one looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So this one we also played that evening. Basically, so here in Virginia, especially Virginia Beach, we have a problem with vanity plates.
It's just so cheap to get them in Virginia.
It really
It's
is.
like $30.
Yeah, and the population is probably like 33% vanity plates to like regular ones.
Yeah.
So there are all sorts of them, and most of them are ridiculous. This game capitalizes on that. You get your own little plate that has 8 spots on it, and using consonants and numbers, you try and fill that out with a card that you get that's a category card. And your goal is to make it recognizable enough where people will be able to pick that category card out of 8 others to be able to know that's what you meant by your vanity. It's a really fun, like light party game, like really cool. I picked that one up just because we need like more higher player count games for sure. The last one that we did not get a chance to sit down and play, and I didn't know was there, but apparently was Lord of the Rings: Fate of the Fellowship.
It looked so good.
Yeah. So we have talked before, we love co-op games. It's one of our favorite kind of genre of games. Specifically, I came to that off the pandemic system.
Yep.
So Matt Leacock, fantastic designer when it comes to board games, known for starting the whole pandemic system and all the iterations that have come out since. This is the newest one to use that pandemic style system built into the Lord of the Rings like world. One of the coolest things I think about the game is that it comes with a Barad-dûr dice tower.
Ooh, I didn't know that came with it. I saw it on the table.
It's like a little cardboard dice tower that looks like the Tower of Sauron. Yeah, but very cool. It's one that I am looking forward to trying to get my hands on. We stopped by the booth a couple times and we're watching people demo it. Again, as a fan of that pandemic system altogether and the Lord of the Rings, that's definitely one that I'm on the lookout for.
Oh, I'm Clarissa. I like tigers. I usually have a bag full of tigers, but today I have sharks. But sharks are pretty cool too. I feel like people misunderstand them. That's like my bag. Yeah, but that's it.
Hi, I'm Mars, and I'm a huge TF2 fan. I love TF2. Particularly, I love the comics, but the game's also really cool. I'm a sniper main, but Meg's also awesome.
Still active on GameFound right now. We have never kept a secret about how much we have really enjoyed the Tebaru system. Or I'm listening to, I think we're saying it wrong. I was watching the video for Sword and Sorcery, and he kept calling it the Tiburu. And he didn't sound Italian in any other word. I don't know. Anyway, whatever it is, if you Google it, you'll find it. It is an electronic game board, and the games that they design go over top of it. I think it is a step above an app-driven game.
Yep.
Especially when we talk about something like the Bad Karmas, where it's a boss battler, but the boss is reacting to you as you move. You could change the levels. You can make it harder. There are like monthly scenarios you can download from it, so it's like still being supported, things like that. But their newest game, Sword and Sorcery, which we had looked at on GameFound. We went over there and it was booked because Gen Con U sign up for these demos and stuff. It was booked, and we went over, and the guy who runs the Canada division recognizes us. Like, hey man, do you think we could pop in early? The old exhibitor badge? He's like, yeah, come out about 9:30 and we'll run a game with you. And we did. We brought Kenny with us, who was working with BA Games, and sat down and ran it. And dude, everything that we like about the Bad Karmas, improved.
Yeah. It's a dungeon crawler style game, but still uses a lot of those same like elements that make it unique. So that's definitely, we immediately, when we got back, we backed it. And
all of it.
Yeah. And we asked him, we were like, okay, so what do we need to get the things?
Yeah.
Because I was like, we have the big box of Bad Karmas. We have the small box of Vampire. Where do we need to come in at? So yeah, it was really cool. I really appreciate them doing that.
Oh man.
Because as the exhibitor, you don't have to but just that, taking that little bit of time, sitting down, setting up, and letting us run through it just for a few minutes, just to get a feel for it and take a look at it, was really cool. So yeah, definite shout out to them. If you have not played any of their games or don't know anything about their games, definitely take a look at that and go back it if you want to try out their newest dungeon crawler.
I think they still fall under the kind of indie game category. They are getting bigger. It's expanding. There's a lot going on there. But I really like with theirs because you can get carried away with their projects. There's a lot you can buy. I will always tell you how much I love the fact that GameFound has like a stretch pay system.
Yeah.
I can't spend $500 in games right now. but I could put $80 down a month for 5 months.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. The core box, just to get rolling with it, with the Tebaru board, is going to cost you about, I think, $250. If you already have a Tebaru board, $113 gets you the base copy.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. But yeah, thanks for doing it for us, guys. We're looking forward to fulfillment, and we have a lot of boxes we're already waiting on from them.
Yeah. And we're still working through some of the ones we still have. But yeah, it's definitely one of those unique game systems for sure.
Hey, what's up? I am Gabriel. I'm from Arizona. Halo interactive strategy game, my first ever board game I ever bought for myself, and that's what got me into board games. Ever since then, my parents just kept buying more of them from free, and I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And I thought the avatars of everything 3D printed, or people come in with a different strategy, I was like, that is so fun to do. And ever since then, I always liked board games, so I go to Target or some of the comic stores that they have board games to see this kind of place. That's really cool.
Hello, my name is Finn. Something that I nerd out about a lot would particularly be like the Life series, which is this like Minecraft like roleplay kind of thing. It's more improv than roleplay though, and it's about these 18 creators. They play this game where they'll have a world like with a border around it in Minecraft, and it's just like almost like a Hunger Games thing where they all kill each other. It's pretty cool though.
And I guess kind of leading into that then, a discussion that we got into, I don't care, not enough people listen to our podcast, I think, to hurt us, but I have my issues with the Dice Tower.
No, and we have never really gone into that exactly. We're more the type to make quips and jokes about stuff like that, like the Pinkertons. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're not off the hook yet.
Thought we were gonna let that go, Hasbro? Nah, baby, we remember.
But seriously, this leads into an important topic that as we continue to delve into the other side of this hobby, the more business side, that is the peek behind the curtain, so to speak, it once again illustrates the importance of supporting small publishers and these small businesses in the endeavors that they're doing.
Yes. One of the things that we thought has been funny through the years is when we're running demos and whatnot, and people are like, wow, it must be really cool to just work for a board game company. Even people that are actually part of BA Games are like, yeah, that would be cool. Because right now they all have regular jobs. Yeah. On top of this, the indie board game market is not a place where you're going to get rich.
Yeah, and I think we touched base on this after PAX last year because Sam took the time to really show us a lot of the more business side, how the sausage gets made, basically, of where that money comes from. And it was enlightening, but also at the same time frustrating because you see these people who are doing everything they can to try and make it.
Right.
Because this is their passion. This is what they love. And they're making really cool things. But a lot of times they just don't get the press or the amount of spotlight that they should just because of the nature of the hobby.
Yeah.
And whether that is from a content creator perspective of people not covering them because it won't garner the views, or whether it's just a symptom of the entirety of the hobby, I don't know. But the fact of the matter remains is that there are a lot of small people out there who are making a lot of really cool things that you will probably never hear of unless you happen to stumble on.
If you find it, first of all, there's just so much in this hobby. And there are so many people that are making games or making products or part of this, unless you know the places to go, know the people to listen to, right? Because the big distributors like DeVere, Asmodee, Simon, for however longer they stay afloat, like those big publishers, Lucky Duck, which, hey, shout out to Joseph, and We're Sinking. Yeah. Lucky Duck has actually picked him up as far as it comes for production and putting that game out there. So We're Sinking was actually in the Lucky Duck booth this year.
Which, again, it doesn't solve all the problems when that happens either. Talking to Joseph, like, he has another game he wants to bring out, and this will go a long way to help him get there.
Yeah.
But it's still, he's not just a game designer now.
Yeah.
Like, that still doesn't pay the bills. And it's really awesome for him that a company like Lucky Duck has picked up his game, which, to be fair, I think it fits their aesthetic perfectly.
I think so.
And it was really cool to see that because now you get to see the backing of a bigger company like that, or what it looks like. There were like electronic banners with walking from the hall down to like the block party. There were like the little things on the floor that like would point you in certain directions. Saw a couple of them that were we're syncing. Like, it was really cool to see somebody who we've talked to, who I would count him as a friend of ours, that actually get the opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, that was, and even the booth they had, he had this like circular booth.
Yeah, it was like a little like 3/4 circle that basically blocked out everything around so you could really teach the game efficiently. It didn't have people like super distracted about it, but it was all like printed with the artwork from We're Sinking. Yeah, it was really cool. I love the giant banner, like I said, of We're Sinking that had a lot of the artwork and stuff on it. It talked about like there's a Lucky Duck booth where you can come and find it. Yeah, like that kind of stuff, that was really cool. And obviously Joseph's experience is different from many others. And even if you compare that to like the BA Games guys, it's a little different, because whereas Joseph is just a game designer, whereas BA Games is looking at being publishing and all.
Yeah.
But still, just to see that opportunity was really cool. But it goes to show there's a lot of people out there who will be just like Joseph, where they'll create something really cool, but they'll never be able to.
For every We're Sinking that a major publisher picks up, there are 5 or 10 other games that are probably just as good that just don't get that light of day kind of thing. And there's a discussion about a lot of people like, oh, we support indie companies, indie producers and stuff. And it's word of mouth, right?
Sure.
Like, it pisses me off. Let's talk Mission Barbecue real quick. First of all, not great barbecue, all right? We were raised in North Carolina, all right? So we have basically at least a master's degree on barbecue. Like, it's just, you were born with it, you stay there for 3 or 4 years, you get one. It's just the way it works, right? Mission
It's
Barbecue.
like an honorary.
Yeah, Mission Barbecue, not real great. But they're also like, yeah, we're all about supporting the troops. I was like, oh, cool, military discount? And they're like, no. What are you doing then? Just high-fiving us when we come in?
Oh, every day at 12, they stand up and play the national anthem or something.
Sweet. I'm still paying $30 for pulled pork.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of it is, that there's not a lot of publicity when it comes to a lot of these smaller publishers.
Mhm.
So what can we do about it?
Sure.
I think a lot of it is when you go to conventions like this, especially, your Gen Cons, your PAX, your Origins, right? Take the time to go down the other halls, the other places, not just the big booths, not just the ones that are huge and flashy and have the signs that are hanging from the ceiling. Because don't get me wrong, those are all cool, and we have bought plenty of games from those
them.
booths as well. But don't be afraid to go down the smaller ones.
Gen Con does have a section that is labeled like the Creators Alley type deal. So you're looking at new companies, new games, stuff like that. And not everything is going to be your flavor, but some of it absolutely might.
Don't be afraid, because you might find something really cool.
Yeah, when we say support games, support those indie producers, it's because, one, we've seen the backside of that, and they're not making money off of this.
No.
But they are contributing to this hobby, and this is their passion. So, like Kevin Smith, I say it all the time, you got to spend money on the stuff you love.
Yeah.
That's what gets you to make more of it. And that's part of my beef with the Dice Tower is I don't like the way they approach a lot, especially in their crowd surfing. We just saw one of those, and it just, the flippant, not worth your time kind of attitude that we got just feels like it justifies my, I'm not going to call it righteous indignation, but
Personal vendetta.
I'm just saying a fist fight in the parking lot is not completely out of the realm of possibility. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's that attitude that some people have. And I have to stop and I'm like, hey, dude, you're reviewing board games. Calm your ass down. I don't know where you have the audacity to speak to people like that, but I really wish I could find that somewhere and with a more useful use for it, because you're just being an ass. And there are other people that do it too. A lot of the big reviewers, of course, but I don't know. Personal experience here, and I don't like them. So that's where we are. So I guess we're never going to be part of that network now, but
here we are.
Whatever. People After Dark's going to make us a ton of money. We'll be great. We'll be great.
Hi, I'm Madeline, and I'm going to tell you what I nerd out about the boys. And because I'm cosplaying as Starlight, personally, I have a hot take for the boys. I think in season 5, I think Starlight needs to go on a rampage. I think she deserves it. I think she's been through a lot, and she's finally coming into her own. She's getting her powers. We saw her finally fly, and I think that she can do it. I think she can just go full Daenerys Targaryen at the end of the series and just vaporize a bunch of people. I think she should kill Homelander.
Hi, my name is Aaron Cotterell, and one of the things I enjoy doing is writing and drawing comics. I like coming up with stories and creating funny scenarios around that. And I also like doing audio and video editing and stop motion creation as well.
Hey, yeah, we're back. We're going to try to do some new things. We're going to have people that we've talked to maybe show us some ropes, maybe show up and continue on with this discussion of the stuff that we love. So, yeah, look forward to new episodes. We'll let you know when we're taking another break to reset and get everything back up. But right now, we got all the equipment running again, and it looks like it's recording. So hopefully you guys hear this at some point.
And with that, the expedition leader boldly announces that they will be leading us 5 rooms into the mine.
A few doubtful faces around the table suggest that everyone will not be all in.
The cards begin to fall. 2 goats, 2 pieces of treasure, and 1 cave-in. The expedition is victorious until
one of the doubters plays a push card. 3 more cards are drawn.
Another cave-in, another goat, and
the final cave-in, ending the expedition in disaster.
For the Dapper Meeple, I'm Josh.
And I'm Jim. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for sticking around and listening to our show.
If you enjoyed it, let me ask you a favor. Follow us and leave a like wherever you get your podcasts. It'll really help us out.
And if you have anything to say back to us, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for the Dapper Meeple. Or you can email us at dappermeeplegaming@gmail.com.
And as always, we'll save you a seat at the table.